It was a good comeback win, which we'll talk about Clemson here in a second. Let's just kick off the games because we need to do it. We're starting off Friday with a banger. I'm talking, this is shootout at the OK Corral. Zach Wilson, who should be the favorite for the Heisman, I think, in my opinion, front runner. He's got over 2,000 passing yards, 19 TDs, 2 interceptions, completing 70% of his passes. He's electric on offense. He is Wyatt Earp. You got the Big Blue turf machine in Boise State going at it. Where do we feel about this game right now? I should also give the line. Sorry.
Really know too much.
BYU's
really
-3. Over under is at 61.
This is
BYU -3.5 because the way they've been just rolling over teams.
This is a must-win for BYU. If BYU loses this game, that I believe that's the end of their season, right? If they can't beat this ranked team, because there's no other, they're not gonna play another ranked team unless something crazy happens. I think this game, though, I'm gonna sound like a bad sports analyst here, is definitely gonna come down to defense, right? If Boise State can stop BYU from scoring easy points or limit explosive plays, to use that cliche, I think Boise State has a shot to win.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the blue turf is always an advantage right there, but that's baked in, I think. BYU's defense is stifling. I think they're letting up 12 points a game right now. The offense is so electric. If you haven't watched that offense play, it's insane. It's so much fun to watch. Zach Wilson should be the favorite to do it for Heisman, at least at this point, in my opinion. It's insane what he's doing week in and week out.
That's it. I mean, I like BYU.
I would agree. I like BYU in this game. I think it's a put up or shut up type of a game for them, and I mean, we'll see. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know much about Boise State and how they've been playing. I have been watching BYU.
They're good.
I'm expecting.
I mean, Boise State's sort of by Boise State. I mean, they play really good defense. Okay. They run the ball, and then their quarterback. I can't think of his name right now. I think he's a little iffy for this game, but he's playing. Like, it's a typical sort of, like, they're not as good as those classic Peterson BYU Boise State teams, but they're very competitive. Like, they're a well-rounded football team, I would say, from what I've seen. But I got BYU winning that game. Another game on Friday night. We don't think it's not on my card, but I think it's worth mentioning. Miami versus NC State. NC State's dog mascot died. That might give them a little bit of a motivational push, but
rest in power, doggy.
Yeah, the Miami Florida, they're playing really good defense. Like that Miami Florida defense looks like a Miami Florida defense. The offense also looks like a Miami Florida offense though, and it's weird right now. It's kind of clunky, I feel like, when I watch them.
I don't really have much to add to that.
Yeah, I didn't plan on watching that game.
Let's talk about a game. Oh, here, we're not going to talk about the Pac-12, but it does kind of suck that they're having to play at 9 in the morning their time. Did you guys see this? Like, USC Arizona State kicks off at noon. Yeah, that sucks.
What?
I mean, that's part of their plan to try to build.
If you're thinking about the Pac-12 though, that's like your marquee matchup, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. The Arizona-Oregon game later at night is, but like this is part of their plan to build a bigger presence on the East Coast. But at the same, and this year hurts them because like the best thing about the Pac-12 is, like, in normal pre-COVID times, you're at the bar or you're going out and you can watch the Pac-12 game going on the TV. Like that's what I love about the Pac-12 is like they're the night game.
10-15 game.
Yeah, I mean they got the Oregon-Stanford game, but like I agree, and like. This game's going to start at 9 their time. So, like, the time that they're going to have to get up to, like, eat, get to the stadium, warm up, get ready, like, that sucks.
So are you hammering the under in this game?
Probably, yeah.
Because I'm kind of thinking that, Nate.
Honestly, it's not a bad idea.
The under in this game. That's a 57.5.
I get it at 58 right now, but yeah, that's crazy. Sorry, that was a quick note. Let's get to another game, too. Michigan, Indiana. This game I'm interested on your thoughts here because we just talked at length about Michigan. I don't know if Indiana has it in them to pull this off. Like, I don't know. Do we think Michigan gets right back on the train track here and gets a little bit more?
Indiana with the upset.
You heard it here first.
I don't know how I feel.
No, I don't know. That's not my.
I can never get a hold on Michigan. Whenever I think they're gonna blow a team out, they don't, and they might get upset. Whenever I think they're not going to do well and they have a chance to be an upset, they blow them out. So here I could see Indiana playing well, but I really didn't think they looked that great against Penn State.
They shouldn't have won that game.
But I don't think they looked that great. And Michigan, I just don't know how I feel about them.
I'm staying away from this from a betting perspective. Like, I'm staying far away from this game betting perspective because I don't know if Michigan gets back on their tracks and looks good here, or if Indiana picks up that momentum from the Penn State game, which they should have lost, but they started to get it going. Tom Allen's a good coach. It's a competitive football team, but I don't know if they have the stones in them to win this game.
The line is kind of what's throwing me off at the 3.5. It's like that's what's really messing with my mind. If it was 7 one way or another, that's kind of where I would feel a little bit more confident picking one or the other.
That's 100% right.
But at 3.5, it's just such a weird line that I don't know how I feel.
I mean,
that's like pick a winner.
Against ranked teams, Harbaugh is not good. So that's the other thing that you have to.
That's very true.
And Indiana is ranked 13th, so there's a chance that he just won't perform against a ranked team.
So what does it mean to be an underdog going into the game? Like, you remember the stat that I brought up, 0-14 is an underdog.
Is that
just on a point spread?
Yeah.
I think it's a point spread.
Yeah.
Or is that on a lower ranked team? I don't remember what the stat was that Valenti rattled off, but I know he said 0-14 is an underdog. And now I don't know if that's betting or if that's
I'd 100% go with it. It's betting.
I would think it would be betting, right?
Yeah, it's betting for sure.
Yeah, it's betting.
So that makes me hate it even more.
I mean, ESPN is predicting, although the FPI is probably one of the worst things that you could look at, but ESPN is predicting Indiana to win this game.
Yeah. Florida, Georgia, one of the craziest games probably every year, I feel like. One of the premier SEC games. The line's at 3.5 right now. Georgia is the favorite, over under 52.5. I'm staying the hell away from this game betting wise because I have no idea. We talked about it earlier as to why we had Georgia ranked lower. The offense, I don't know what I'm going to get out of them. And my inclination is to go Florida because they can put up so many points, and Georgia is just not going to be able to stay with them. But then there's the other part of me that's going, well, defense is king sometimes. But we see in the SEC, like, when that mentality happens sometimes, though, the offense does ultimately prevail. We've seen this with Alabama all the time, especially when they play Georgia. Like, I feel like if you're asking me what do I lean, I think I lean Florida here because of how powerful that offense is. But I hate this because I also don't like Dan Mullins in big games. I prefer Kirby Smart, and I prefer a defense right now. But that Georgia offense, I can't state it enough. It's bad, man. It's really bad.
See, I kind of lean Georgia in this game, and I start to like Georgia if JT Daniels comes out as a starter in this game.
Oh, that changes it all.
If you watch JT Daniels run through that tunnel and is the guy leading them out, like, I would hammer Georgia in this game. But if it's still Stetson Bennett, like, I would agree with you. I just stay away from it. There's no reason to get in on this.
100% agree with that. Just sit back and watch, I think, is the way I'm approaching this game.
That's the way I would go, too.
I don't know if we have any other thoughts there, but that's sort of how I'm approaching it. Game of the week. Game of the night. The big one. The big kahuna. Clemson versus Notre Dame. Line's at 6. Clemson's favorite at 6. Over under 52. I tweeted this out. It would have had to have been Saturday. Booger had the audacity to say losing Trevor Lawrence did not matter for this game, as if losing arguably the best quarterback in college football wouldn't matter. There's a reason this line is at 6 right now, Booger, because of that. It 100% matters to lose the best player in college football, arguably. Where do we feel on this game? Because I am all over the place here on this game right now.
To be honest, Nate, I do think Notre Dame could pull this off.
Yeah, but Brian...
Their defense is incredible, and Clemson struggled against Boston College, and
yeah, but they picked it up in the
because,
second half.
But they didn't struggle because of the quarterback.
But just like Jim Harbaugh, Brian Kelly is terrible against.
This is my point
teams.
that I was going to get to. Yep,
100%. Yeah, he cannot coach in big games. So that's the I like.
And the worst part about this game, Clemson is 2-5 against the spread, and Notre Dame is 2-4 against the spread.
Oh.
Yeah, it's bad.
Who are you supposed to pick?
Yeah.
This is another game. I'm staying away. This might be a gut. Once I've gotten a couple in me on Saturday, I might make a gut pick here. So watch out for that on one of our social media platforms, Twitter at Trophy Kids Podcast. But I'm with you, dude. Brian Kelly dropped some eggs in big games, and the defense. Don't get me wrong. I've watched every Notre Dame game, and the defense is definitely good. But it's not like they played spectacular offenses, and they do feel like a defense, from what I've been watching, where if it breaks hard. Like they are a dam loaded with TNT waiting for a fuse to be lit, because if that fuse gets lit, it does feel like they kind of get in their own headspace, and then they just, like, the defense just kind of blows.
I mean, just for the audience, the Irish are 3-8 against top 10 teams.
Yeah, that's crazy. That would be under the Brian Kelly era too. I'm assuming.
Yes, Brian Kelly. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like that either.
But I also don't like Clemson because, like,
I don't know.
The offense performed fine, but I also think, like, I do think Clemson falls victim to they do have a problem getting up for some games, and I can't tell. I know it's true for some games, but I can't really tell when they're having trouble getting up for this game and, like, really getting excited. They just kind of thought they'd roll the ball out and just whoop team, versus they're legitimately struggle. I think the BC game was a legitimate struggle. BC's also a good football team, but then you saw them put it together in the second half. Like, that second half team looked much different. And they got the good comeback from behind win. They still got a phenomenal running back in NTN. Phenomenal. Top world-class running back. I don't know. I don't like this line either. I think this is another sit back and wait, but if you ask me which way I'm leaning, I think I lean Clemson, but maybe Notre Dame to cover. Because the other thing with Notre Dame is Notre Dame's offense only gets going when the running game gets going. And that could be a problem because Clemson will stuff the run. They do have a phenomenal running game. They got a great offensive line at Notre Dame. But if you're saying we got to run the ball to be successful here, Clemson can stuff that and can stop that. That's their special sauce right there.
Here's my thing. This game right here is going to make the argument that Notre Dame should stay in ACC and not be independent.
100%.
Like this game, because of the matchup, because of where, I don't know what other game you would actually watch. Right? You're gonna watch this Notre Dame Clemson, and Notre Dame should just stay in the ACC. Also, I don't think Brian Kelly pulls this off.
Yeah, I don't either. It'll be interesting, though. They are good at home, but you don't get the huge home advantage, even though they do have fans.
I mean, Touchdown Jesus is still there, right?
He is still there.
He sure is.
I think Touchdown Jesus got a little upset with me calling myself the Notre Dame whisperer in a spite of me sense, because I've been catching some very bad breaks. Like that first half cover last week, that should have been easy in the books, but of course they fumble the ball on the fucking 15-yard line for a run-back touchdown. Like, give me a break, dude. They didn't score at all. That offense couldn't move the ball, and that was the easiest cover ever, and they fumble it. Whatever. I'm over it. Any other games before we give out our card? Or I give out a card here. I don't know, Tim, if you have one this week.
I was going to say, I was scrolling through these games trying to come up with a card, and I don't have one. So
I've got a short one.
You give out your card.
This week,
Stanford and Oregon.
Oh, yeah. I think Oregon's just – I don't know much about Oregon. I'm not going to bet it because I'd rather watch them, but I think Stanford's about to be really bad this year. And I'm talking really bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, too. I think Stanford is probably going to be like, oh, can we cancel the season? Because we want to cancel the season.
Yeah, they should have pulled the UConn.
They were too smart to have another season.
Yeah, they should have pulled the UConn and opted out, for sure. I don't know about the spread there. I want to watch all the Pac-12 teams and try to get a feel, especially because Oregon's got a new quarterback. I want to see how that all goes. But they play good defense, so yeah, I think they should probably crush Stanford. I feel like 10 is a pretty good bet. But I didn't look at that game hard enough. I've got a short card. I hate the board this week. I feel like every line is either like I feel like Vegas locked in this week because in every game I'm looking at it and it's like I'm either going to hit this or I'm going to miss it by a million miles. Like it's just going to be a massive blowout. So I'm being a little selective in this. First game, I got Liberty plus 14 versus Virginia Tech. I'm from Virginia. I'm going to tell you right now in the state of Virginia, Virginia Tech is obviously king. And the state of Virginia doesn't, I think, get the rep it deserves as an actual good football state. Like, it's a phenomenal football state. It's not Texas or California, obviously, but it's up there as one of the top-tier football states. And within the state, the colleges, they get going to beat Virginia Tech when they play it. You saw it with JMU in 2010. They beat them. You saw it with Old Dominion. What was that, like 2 years ago? I don't know if Liberty's going to beat them, but Virginia Tech is really bad on defense, and they're really good on offense, and that's a dangerous combination for a Virginia Tech team versus a Liberty team who is going to get up for this. Hugh Freeze is looking like this is a statement game for him to get back into the national conversation for a coaching job. So I do think they're going to play this game very competitive, and I think Virginia Tech has a real concern because that defense is bad for Virginia Tech right now.
All I got to say is I hope you're right about Virginia football and that we have ourselves our next quarterback in Noah Kim.
It's a great state. I'm telling you right now, it turns out athletes. It's a phenomenal state for football. I grew up in the state. I think it's well underrated. It's starting to get a better rap, but it produces some insane athletes and some really good football players. So, that's what I have to say on that. I'm from the Northern Virginia part of the area, which is phenomenal football. Think like remember the Titans country. Like I'm from that part of Virginia. They're not good at football anymore, right? Or at least when I was in high school, they weren't. But the whole area is great, and the whole state is good. UC minus 13 is what I got it at. 13.5, sorry. Arkansas plus 2 is playing Tennessee. Jeremy Pruitt has to win this game, but here's the problem. Tennessee has no fight in them. That's a dead team, and Arkansas has a lot of fight. Arkansas is the epitome of it's not the size of the dog, but it's the size of the fight in the dog because they have a lot of fight in that team.
You know, Arkansas is really good. And by really good, I mean, like, surprising for an Arkansas team.
Very surprising.
I feel like this is I feel like they're at their peak right now, and they could turn into LSU next year where they lose both of their coordinators because of how good their coordinators are playing on offense and defense.
I have to commend Tennessee for keeping with college tradition and getting to what basically is kind of a little bit like the middle of the year and being like, nope, we're done playing football. At least even during COVID, they performed the same way.
Oh, terrible program. But I like Arkansas in that spot. I got BYU minus 3. I got Memphis minus 18. I think Memphis is going to get back on track here. They're playing University of South Florida, who is a horrendously bad team. Memphis got the shit kicked out of them by UC. I mean, they got embarrassed in one of the easiest bets of the year for me. And they have a really good offense. They don't have a great defense, but South Florida's offense it's poke your eyeballs out bad to watch. So I like them at minus 18. And then your Michigan State Sparties versus Iowa. I think I like the under here. This feels like a 14-17 type of game.
Oh, you know it's going to be.
The under-over is 46. This feels 14-17 written all over it.
Let's not go 14-17. Let's go another 9-7 win for the Sparties right there.
Yeah, I this is my thing. Like, when I saw, like, oh, yeah, we're playing Iowa, like, I knew we were playing Iowa, but the realization that we were playing Iowa, I was like, man, MSU can go right in there and play a close game and lose. Nope, can't they?
Yep, they sure can.
So that one's at 46. My. That's it. That's all I have for my card this week.
Is that all? Do we want to talk about this, circle back to something earlier that we brought up in the podcast, how Nebraska's getting just slapped left and right by the Big Ten? They're underdogs against Northwestern right now.
They should be underdogs against Northwestern.
How awesome would that be?
Northwestern is gonna go could go 3-0, right?
You mean 0-3?
Northwestern?
Northwestern, yes.
Yeah.
Could go 3-0.
Yeah.
I said
they would be 3-0. No, I heard Nebraska. I had my mind fixated on Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska isn't a good team.
Ah.
They are not. Also, we talked about Franklin and Harbaugh. Frost should have been right in that conversation.
He could be close, but Nebraska is also Nebraska.
Nebraska's Nebraska. I think he's got a little bit more wiggle room because he's a little newer. But yeah, I mean, I think Nebraska just has to accept that nobody's going to want to come play for Nebraska. Why would you play for like if you're choosing to play at Nebraska? Why wouldn't you just choose to play at Wisconsin if you got an offer, or like Iowa or something? Like why would you go out to Lincoln, Nebraska to play for Nebraska?
It's Scott Frost. Stay in Texas.
Yeah, or stay in Texas. Yeah.
Stay in Texas at one of
the many schools. Yeah.
You have lots of opportunities to stay in Texas over trying to go to Nebraska.
Or if you don't want to go too far from Texas, you can go to Oklahoma. You go to LSU. You can go to Arkansas.
Oklahoma State. You could go. I mean, they're all like right there. You have to drive through so many schools to try and get to Nebraska.
Yeah, I agree. Any other games you want to cover before we wrap this up? Cool. Let's finalize it up here. Tim, you let me know that you had a Trophy Kids Millennial of the Week award here for this week.
I wanted to